Office.
Mr. Speaker, the issue of roads is always a sensitive matter. And when I look at the resolution before us, I have seen that the opposition is taking a completely different stance on the issue of the loan for the roads. But you see, consistency is important, Mr. Speaker. We are borrowing for the, and if I just make a quick reference in passing, some time ago, these same members opposite said, if the Dennery Water Project was $100 million, they would have still supported it. I commend them for this. But when other things are not suitable for what they want politically, even if there's prudence in the decision, they don't support it. So it's just about politics. It's not about what is good for the country. Now, I heard the member for Dennery North talk about being in opposition, and he knows that his roads may not necessarily be attended to. If I say to the honorable member, more roads have been done for you in opposition than it has been done for me as a sitting member of the government side in Parliament, I've not complained about that. That is in response to a disaster. That had nothing to do with road repairs. That was a road that was closed and had to be reopened. And it's done on the side of the member for Castries East. The constituency. The wall was built on your side. Yes. You don't know your boundary? You don't know your boundary? The wall in Tiroshi. Not the one in Geno, the one in Tiroshi. Oh. Oh. The one by the quarry. The one by the quarry.
Honorable members, keep the exchange outside of it.
So, Mr. Speaker, we are talking about roads. And I want members to remember, all of us are parliamentary representatives. When you have the handle, you dish out the food the way that you want to. When you're in opposition, you still want to dictate how the food should be dished out. And that is not fair. Because as a member of the opposition, for 5 years, Mr. Speaker, 25 names is what I was given to choose. I represent 43 major communities, the second largest constituency on the island. 33 major communities. I could not even appoint one person from each community to do 7 days' work at $50 to add up to $350 for the 7 days. And if I got that, it would add up to $8,750. That is all I got as an opposition parliamentarian representing the second largest constituency, both geographically and population-wise. So today, yes, every time it stops when UWP is in office, and it goes back when Labour is in office. So the point I'm making, Mr. Speaker, I went to the Taiwanese. I spoke to them about projects that had been started. And the member for Vieux-Fort North, unfortunately, he has left. But I will set the record straight because Vieux-Fort North. Because while he was speaking, before he pulled out the paper, I knew. Because I had already written. There were 3 roads that was approved within a 12-road project. There were 12 roads identified. The first one that was started was the Sarot Road. The next road was the Belle Road, and the other one was the Fromage Road. Because the surface had been removed and the project was awarded to El Caribbean. So I can give you all of the information. The other two projects, including Belle and Fromage, both projects were cancelled by the previous administration, during which the leader of the opposition and member for Castries East was the Minister for Infrastructure. And if you go to Belle today, I heard the member speak about his road. Go to Belle. Belle is one of the worst roads. It's both a farm road and a community road. And the people in Belle were removed from their place of residence in Millet for the building of the Roseau Dam and relocated to that community. And the only time work was done on that road was when we were in government the last time. And their favorite contractor did the road. And the road didn't last 2 years. You don't know who your favorite contractor is? Okay. So, Mr. Speaker, when we talk about roads, if... Yeah, fresh start. That's your favorite contractor? Okay. So, Mr. Speaker, the one you don't want to say, that's the one. Mr. Speaker, the Forestier Road, as we speak today, 3 weeks ago, we did a self-help in the Forestier Road to block the potholes. What? By whom? By whom? What? Mr. Speaker, I invite the member for Castries East to come up there with a television crew tomorrow. And let us go and see the condition. Because we are talking about roads. And we are talking... I spent 5 years in opposition, Mr. Speaker. And the then leader of government, the Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, said publicly that he would do whatever it takes to see to it that I'm not in this honorable house anymore. And so, Mr. Speaker, the resources of the country, I heard him talking about 10,000 being given to him and the rest being given to somebody who did not win. But at least that person had people who voted for them. The people that was given the money in Castries Southeast, they did not even contest elections here. But they were given, no, y'all didn't give Mangal nothing. That's why he is with me now. That's why he is with me now. That's why he is not with you all now. So the person that was spending the money in Castries East, Mr. Speaker, had never contested an election. At least an opposition, a member who did not win the seat, can still claim that they have thousands of people in the constituency who voted for them and may have some level of legitimacy. But the reality is, Mr. Speaker, you see, the shoe is on the other foot today, and it's hurting some people's toes. It's squeezing them. I took my blows in Parliament, Mr. Speaker. I took my blows in the constituency. When we talk about projects in the constituency, Mr. Speaker, the little pack in Bexon, about $35,000, which is what was required to finish the pack. 5 years, Mr. Speaker. With the Taiwanese making $1 million available every year for my constituency. And when I went to the ambassador, the ambassador said to me, is not him. The money went to the government. I've made it a document of the House where the then Minister of Finance instructed the person who was in charge of CDP projects that no project is to be done in any opposition constituency unless he authorizes it. And for the 5 years, the park remained unfinished. So when UWP came back into office. But I understand, Mr. Speaker. You know why I understand? Because the member said the people for Viewfort wanted a park. And it took him 17 years as Prime Minister to be able to give them a park. So I'm making a point, member for Castries East. So we're talking about roads. And we so what roads have to do with how much money you got to do projects, and it's $10,000, and then the member who didn't win is getting 50. You brought it, so I'm responding to it. I'm responding to it. Yeah, but very excited. Mr. Speaker, so there were 3 roads in my constituency. Project issued, contract, everything, cancelled. And as we speak today, no work was done on this road. So the people of Bel Air continue to suffer, as the member for Dennery North indicated. Vehicles. I did 3 self-help projects during the time that I was in opposition, and Bel Air was one of them. Fromage Road has not been touched. For 5 years, the previous government, no road in my constituency was fixed. But I can proudly say that under the watch of this United Workers' Party, many roads have been touched in opposition constituencies, even as we speak in this honorable house. And the list of roads outlined by the Prime Minister clearly indicates that there are roads in opposition constituencies and in government constituencies that are being addressed. So it's not people living in Castries Southeast. So when you all did nothing in Castries Southeast, there's nobody living there. It's Guy Joseph alone that was living in Castries Southeast. But you that said people that live in there. Mr. Speaker, so it is easy.
They did nothing.
Yes, it took a UWP government. When they build the East Coast Road, they skipped that piece of road. Deriso Road, never touched it. So
Honorable members, let's move on.
Mr. Speaker, I'll close here. But I want to say, Mr. Speaker, the issue of contractors. Under this UWP administration, more contractors have been engaged in roadworks. Every trucker, Mr. Speaker, I passed on the road and I saw Bedford. You can remember the last time you saw Bedford on the road in St. Lucia?
I didn't know they existed still.
Every time. You know when Flabo is in office. When Flabo is in office, all trucks get work. So the fellas who had abandoned their Bedfords, they spray that nicely. The Lelands are back on the road. The Bedfords are back on the road. Mr. Speaker, the evidence is there. Under the Labour Party.
Honorable members on the government side.
Mr. Speaker, under the Labour Party, there was one set of trucks on the road alone. One set. You could see one color and one logo. Okay? But under the United Workers' Party government, truckers have been engaged. Truckers have been engaged. And they talk about, road in Viewfort and the road that happening in Viewfort is not for the people. You all said it. The road, ask them how many truckers from Viewfort that's working there. And ask them when the administrative building, Mr. Speaker, was being built. Tell me one trucker or one backhoe or one mini excavator that got a day's work down there. Mr. Speaker, even the stones for the building, with Will Rock just there, the stones were coming all the way from cul-de-sac to Viewfort. Not a yard of stone was bought from Viewfort. So Mr. Speaker, when we talk about the interest of the people, and we want to say we have the interest of the people, I know the MPs down there didn't have the interest of the people at heart. They were looking after their personal interest. Who was their friends to get the job? That is what it is. And the record will show. Go back and see. And these jobs, they didn't pay for it. This government is paying for it. 90% of the work given was given design, finance, construct. So you know what is happening? All of these monies are being paid today. The administrative center we spoke about, you all want to know who?
Honorable Member.
I'm talking about the roads.
Honorable Member Castro Surface, please
Yes.
continue, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, under the SLP, it is evident that the people of St. Lucia don't generally do well. The fact of the matter is, every time UWP is in office, there's greater economic activity that trickles down to more people in the society than it happens under any Labour Party administration. And that is why, I'll take a picture and I'll bring it for you. The next time I come to the house, I'll pass it on the road, I'll take the picture. Mr. Speaker, and you know the cab is painted yellow and the box is blue. National colors. National color. So, Mr. Speaker, it is evident that this loan being taken today, will redound to the benefit of many of the people, not just the repairs to the roads, but all the subcontractors who would be engaged across the length and breadth of St. Lucia. Mr. Speaker, I'll not even touch on the housing because it's late.
You should proceed.
Yes. You want me to talk about housing?
Honorable Member.
Mr. Speaker, this is a government of failed policies. They could not get one housing project off the ground. They started Rivadore, they couldn't finish it. They went into an arrangement that cost us $6 million. They went into shock. They went into the shock arrangement. Yes, because your tag team was the one who started the project. But I waited. I will be happy to explain. So, Mr. Speaker, well, according to Mr. King, I go into heaven. Mr. Speaker, we are focused. And if you look at the balanced approach being taken by the government, so while we are spending on the roads, we are spending on the school plant, and we are also spending on housing. A clear indication that the approach of this government is holistic towards the development. We are catering for the children of the country. We are catering for the parents and the family on the whole, and we are catering for the motoring public. So we could have taken all the money and put it into one area, but we have spread it out in a manner that is going to impact every corner And that is what the issue here is, not borrowing. The issue is, what do you do with the money? And what benefits come out of the use of the money? And when you are ready, we will ask the members opposite. At the end of the next 2 years, the people of St. Lucia will have a chance to decide on who are the better managers of the affairs of this country. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.